Emotional transformation. This is chapter 7. Chapter 7 begins part 3 of this course. Part 3 is dedicated to the second step in emotional transformation, that is reducing the exaggerated self-criticism. This is our goal here. This is a major goal. It is such an important goal, and at the same time, most people and even most therapists, I believe, do not realize the huge importance of this issue in human emotional situations, all of them. According to the psycho-creative approach, every problem is bigger than it really is. Every problem stays longer, and every problem is harder to treat due to exaggerated self-criticism about and regarding this problem. In other words, as I said in the previous chapter, a huge part of the problem is the self-criticism we have about the problem. And it may be confusing because, many times this inner critic, inner cop, sounds pretty reasonable with all its negative messages. So we won't regard it as part of the problem, but, maybe just a part of our personality that is disappointed at us, that is trying to fix us, trying to show us the right way, trying to help us avoid failures, mistakes, etc. But this is not truth. And yes, it is like magic. Once you reduce your self-criticism about a problem, you give yourself a better opportunity to get rid of the problem, or at least to reduce its intensity significantly. Now, this is just a part. We have 5 parts here, and we can never cope with a problem only by reducing the self-criticism around it. No. But I believe if we avoid doing this part, if we fail to notice that this inner critic's action inside us actually make the problem stay in the same place, influencing the very problem, we will keep on chasing our tails and will not understand how, despite many efforts, treatments, interventions, we still face the same problem. How it keeps on coming back to our lives. Well, as long as this inner critic is active too strongly in your mind about the problem, actually, this is a mechanism, a hidden mechanism of the problem to remain in the same place and to not let you solve it, reduce its intensity, change it. So our job here in the second step of emotional transformation is to start reducing our inner critic. And it's such, I don't know how to say it, it's such a surprise to realize that at the same time we have exaggerated self-critic, and at the same time we are able to reduce it. But most of the time we fail to realize this. We fail to do something about this because we are not aware of the fact that we are able to reduce the self-critic's influence on us. So, sorry about that. Chapter 7 says, for you to realize that exaggerated self-criticism makes the problem stay in the same place with no change until we reduce the self-criticism about it. We begin with acknowledging ourselves. Two things. First, that a big part of the problem is the criticism we put ourselves or upon ourselves regarding this problem. We actually maintain the problem. We actually nurture the problem, keep the problem intact. And this is, for many people, a revolutionary idea. How come? My self-critic is trying to tell me what to do, what not to do, trying to fix me, trying to show me the way, trying to tell me that there are things that are wrong and it is not good, that I made mistakes, so I created a problem, and if I won't make the same mistake again, it will be okay. And this is an illusion. This is an illusion, because your inner critic makes you feel guilty, makes you feel ashamed, makes you feel weak, and when you are guilty, ashamed, and weak, there's no way you're going to cope properly with your problem. No. The other way around. It will be only worse, because you need your creativity, your flexibility, your passion in order to deal with a chronic or recurrent problem. You don't need criticism, you don't need shame, you don't need guilt, you don't need that this inner critic will cause you the pain again, that you're not okay. No. It's only makes the problem stronger. This is one thing you should bear in mind. The other thing is that you can change this equation. You can reduce the inner critic. There are ways to do it. We can put boundaries to our inner critic. We can stop it. We can argue against it. We can say something. We can say no to our inner critic. Yes, we can. But usually, we don't know that we possess this ability to fight back, to negotiate, to tell the inner critic, well, I do not need you now. You don't really help me. As I look retrospectively, you didn't really help me change this problem. You always told me that there's something wrong about me, about this problem, but this didn't help. It remained the same or even got worse. The magic of emotional transformation is based, among other things, on our improving ability to stop our inner critic from having such a huge negative impact on us. It begins with the understanding that this inner critic is not needed, it's actually damaging, it disturbs us, it creates an illusion of helplessness, of being a failure, of being not good enough. And this just makes the problem worse. And at the same time, we should realize that we have the power to stop it, to say, no, I do not agree with you. I do not agree with you. I do not need you. I need more creativity, happiness, flexibility, passion, originality, all the things that the self-critic doesn't like. So, our job here, and I will elaborate more in the next chapters, is to do something about it. If we want to transform the problem into productive energy, we need to realize that there is a barrier, there is a wall, there is a block between the problem that is stuck over there in a kind of a complex energy and its release into creativity, productivity, change. There is a wall there. There is a barrier. And a huge part of this barrier is made of exaggerated self-criticism. We can break this wall gradually. We can make some holes in this wall. But we need to realize that this wall exists and it is a reason for the problems to stay, and we need to know that we have the tools, the hammer, or whatever you want that can start breaking the wall, and you will know how to do it. It's not so complicated. Thereby, you will enhance your ability to transform your problems.